Greetings, greetings, greetings to each and everyone, and welcome to another session of the Reggaelution Talk Show that broadcasts on Eglinton TV, whether Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. In this case, today's Monday, May the 5th. Here I'm in Canada after two, and my guest is in the UK. And as I always said, that my show go anywhere in the world that I want to go. Thank goodness for social media. So in studio, I have with me this afternoon, as you can see, the beautiful Jenny Beckford, a coach for teen and parents. She also co-founded Greater Elevation some years ago. I've been on the journey with her till this day. And I know she has some new developments that just recently took place. And also, she's coming out with more stuff. And I brought her in today because of parents, and as mothers or even fathers, sometimes the experience that we go through with our children. She's got the solution, I believe. She's got the remedy. And you know what? I'm not going to give away her thing today. I'm just going to introduce her. So without further ado, let me introduce to you my guest for today, Miss Jenny Beckford out of the UK. Jenny, how are you?
I'm good, Janet. Lovely to see you again. It's always a pleasure to be on your show. Yes, absolutely excited to talk to you. So I'm good all the way in the UK. Yeah, raring to go and so happy to be here as always.
And what time is it there now in the UK?
It is 7:14 p.m. in the UK.
So is that in the evening? Oh, PM.
Yes, evening.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
7:14
And
p.m. Yeah.
what's the weather like there? Because
Oh,
here it's cloudy and look like it's drizzling. What about you?
here is sunny, but it's quite breezy out there. It's just finished raining. Um, on Thursday, it was a very hot day, no jacket, it was sweltering here. Today is a public holiday where most people don't work on a Monday. And usually when it's bank holiday, this is what you can expect. The weather's not always great. So not so great today. Not so great. But me,
What
I don't let the weather dictate my mood. I'm good.
what kind of holiday it is?
So it's a public holiday, official in most organizations. Monday is just a bank holiday where most organizations are closed, and people who work in those organizations get the Monday off. So it's an official long weekend for some. Some organizations are open, but predominantly a lot of the organizations are not open. The supermarkets are opened and all of that, but people who probably work in offices, um, yeah, potentially because some organizations are open, but some are closed. So with that being said, we have an official day where on a Monday people don't have to go to work. So a lot of people are having a long weekend and then back to work tomorrow. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so people, once again, if you're just tuning in late, so I'm Jeanette Lumley, and I'm the host again of the Reggaelution Talk Show, a show with, give persons like Jenny exposure, bring people in studio and they just share their journey. It's a journey kind of show where people talk about, their life story, which Jenny will be sharing some stuff with us today, which I think many of you can benefit. So Jenny is a coach, is a parent and teen coach. I've been on the journey with her when she started and still here. So I'm transitioning with her, growing with her. Every move that she makes, I'm on it. So Jenny, maybe just to give us a little preview of when you started on this journey with Greater Elevation and what it has done, how impact lives. Is it working for the parents and the teens and stuff like that?
Okay, so thanks, Janet, again for letting me come on your platform. So I started Coaching Business Greater Elevation, July 2020. So we were kind of in COVID then. Everybody was in, everything was online. So I I think just a bit of a backstory, how I decided to set up this business is I was receiving coaching myself. So getting my personal transformation. And through getting that coaching from a life coach, I discovered my purpose. Like I've been supporting young people for well over 20 years. And I thought, I know, I'm going to help some young people, I'm going to set up a business. I'm going to get certified as a teen coach. I'm going to support teens. But then something came in my head. What about the parents? What about when you had your daughters when they were teenagers and the challenges you were going through, you'd want somebody to support you. Not only that, if I'm going to help the teens and they go home and say, Jenny said this, Jenny said that, guess what's going to happen? My work's going to be undone, right? So I thought, you know what? Let's support the parents as well as the teenagers. So in COVID at that time, I had another coach. I think she was in Australia actually. She was great. And she helped me in terms of building a community. So I built a community of Facebook, a Facebook community. It's called Elevating Parents to Elevate Teens. And I started that community about 4 years ago. Actually, yesterday was 4 years that the community, it popped up to said it was a 4 years anniversary. I even forgot actually yesterday. And to date, we've got 827 parents in that Facebook community from all around the globe. We've got in there. So that is a free community where they can receive resources, strategies. I'm in there. And anything that's happening, like any events or anything like that, they get told first. But it also, if people want more support, further support, that support is a paid support, and I can look at supporting them. So the parents in there, they get to know me, they're nurtured, they know who I am. But outside of that community, I also provide coaching programs for parents and also teenagers. And that seems to be working, I've been working relatively well because it's allowed me to go into schools as well to support teenagers. But I also recently had a parent program for parents in that particular school. So far, so good, because what's happening with the parents is they're not seeing coaching as being a negative thing. Because a lot of parents think if they're going to get help, if they're going to get intervention, that means they're a bad parent. And I'm telling them, no, I've got coaches too, because having a coach is helping you to see, you can't always see your blind spots. So, and it's letting them know my experience of being a parent is life experience, as well as I've got the textbook experience. And it's given them a platform where somebody's not going to judge them. I know what you've been through. My daughters are twins and they were teens. And at that time, my parenting was not the best in terms of communicating, but I've learned because I've worked on myself. So I'm helping these parents to unlearn the old thought patterns to help them to, I kind of call it the old school parenting, to kind of say to them, let's kind of move away from that, not completely, but there are new ways in which I can help you with. I don't just call it tips, I call it getting to that root and seeing how I can support you as a parent. So that's what I've been doing. I think your sound's gone, Janet. Can't hear you. Oh, you on mute. That's why.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all
Yeah,
right.
you mentioned about to be better at what you do, which that's an advice for everyone. You have to work on yourself first.
Yeah.
In order for you to be effective at anything, I believe, not
Mm.
just what you're doing,
Yeah.
but in anything that you're doing, you have to look at yourself first. If you're not, you know what, back home, I know you're not really like you're from Jamaican parenting, but you must hear that they say you practice what you preach. And I
Oh,
think
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
is something that is out there, no matter where you
yeah.
go, right? So before you can effective and for these, and that's a perfect example of
Mm.
being a single mom
Yeah.
yourself and raising twin, right? So maybe you can touch on that a little bit about. raising your daughters. I look at them now. I was looking at one yesterday in your video, and she kind of looks like you, one of them.
Yeah, it's funny because she calls herself my personality twin. And it's true, a lot of people have said when I was younger, no, she's just like you. She's definitely like you.
Yeah, the
And
one that
she's
was
now realizing it herself now.
the one that was there in in the streets.
Yeah, doing the
Yeah,
graduation video.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
one, she looks like when I saw her yesterday, I said, that's Jenny.
yeah,
So yeah, so maybe you can share with us on your journey as a parent, single mom,
yeah,
raising children, not one.
yeah.
How was that journey? And I know that they're in their 20s, transitioning to 30. I know they will become mom, what is it like to still be a part of their life?
Um, all right, so I'll answer your first question. So you were saying in terms of what has it been like raising them as a single mom. So I had my daughters, I was pregnant, I think 22. I had them at 23. Even now, I'm just like, I still can't believe I've got twins after all these years, yeah. Because I thought I was having one until I went for the scan at 3 months, and they said, "Oh, Miss Beckford." So I said, "What's wrong with the baby?" They're like, "Oh," I'm like, "What's wrong? We don't know how to tell you this." So now I'm like, "Oh my goodness, something's wrong with the baby." No, no, calm down. You're having twins. What? Yeah, you're having twins. This is fetus A, this is fetus B. The rest are just zoned out. I remember ringing their dad at the time. He was driving. You could hear the car going. "Ah." He's like, "Stop mucking about. I'm nearly crashing." I said, "We're having twins." He said, "No, I don't believe you." I said, "Why would I lie?" Anyway, fast forward to that. I mean, I got with their dad when I was about 19. We were very young. He was 18. I was 19. Very young. By the t As I said, 22, I got pregnant, had them at 23. And we were together for a significant amount of time, 10 years. And I became a single parent when I was 30, funny enough, quite late in life. And the girls were 6. Um, so when I became a single parent, it was a just decision where I was saying, I mean, it's funny because me and that dad, we get on well now, but at the time, it was like he was still carrying on like he was single, going out all hours and all of that. And I'm like, look, that can't really go on here because we've got children to raise. So we went our own separate ways, but he would see them every other weekend. But being a single mum, um, it was a case of I was overcompensating. So making up for the fact they've only got me at home and now I'm a single parent, I'm gonna have to overcompensate. So overcompensating looked like anything they wanted, they can have. And when I'm telling you, when I tell people like what in terms of what that looked like, imagine you've got two daughters, they're the same size and everything. So if one's going to grow out of a coat, the other one's going to grow out of a coat. Everything has to be brand new. There's no hand-me-downs, not because I didn't want to, but because they were the same size. So, um, imagine when they get to their teens and they want this and they want hair, they want to go here, they want to go where. I was just saying yes for everything. Like literally, yeah, you could have it. Yeah, you could. I don't even think they knew. Even when I didn't have it, they said, "Oh, mum, can..." I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna sort it out." Yeah, knowing I haven't got the money. Even looking back now, even my daughter said to me, "Mom," now they're like, "Mom, no, you gave us everything, even when you didn't have it." Oh my goodness. They actually, when it was I had a milestone birthday, I was 50. And when I had the party, um, they stood up and said, "Mum, no, I know it wasn't easy." Like she even started to cry. She's like, "No, I feel like I want to cry." Because they didn't realize then, but they realize now the sacrifice that I made. And it's nothing to do with them because I could have said no, but overcompensating. There's a term that we use. It's called codependency, where you just want to be the person to fix everything. You just want to say yes to everything, no boundaries. So what happens later on when you try to tell them no? Of course, it's foreign to them. What do you mean no? You've always given us this, yeah? So I had to kind of look at the way that I'd been being. The overcompensating, not being able to communicate with them, you know, the slightest thing I tell one, the other one jumps in. So now we got the tag team. I'm literally the big adult leaving when we're having a little argument. I'm leaving the house. Where you going? I'm just going. I'm just storming out of the house like a crazy woman going. This is if you live next door to me, you're thinking this woman's crazy. You could hear me raising my voice. They're trying to talk back. I'm trying to talk. Right, that's it. I'm out. I'm gone. This was happening on a regular basis. So after a while, I had to say to myself, how can I go to work and pretend everything's okay? How's everything? Yeah, everything's fine, but wearing this mask, helping the young people there. But when I'm coming home, my own household is in chaos. So in the end, that led me somehow, I don't know what happened. I saw something online and I saw a coach. I didn't know about coaching as much, although looking back, I was coaching young people, but didn't know it was coaching then. And signed up to have a coach. And that woman got me to turn that spotlight within, point the finger inwards. Oh, my daughter's this. Oh, my daughter's that. No, you're the problem. What? What do you mean I'm the problem? I was vexed. But in the end, I realized what she said. And as I started to work on myself, at first, my daughters thought, why is she all calm? So if I'd come home and not shout, why are you talking in this voice? This is very sarcastic because my voice is calm now. They're used to the chaos. But after a while, they realized that actually she's changing. So once I changed, they changed. And now we have a very, very close bond now, very close. But that only happened because the work that I did on myself. So that's why I call myself the cycle breaker because it's no like, even me growing up with my mum, we were always kind of like head on head because my mum from Jamaica and she tell you like she's the big woman in this house. If you don't like it, the first thing you can do, you can get out. But I'm thinking, where am I gonna go? I haven't got no money. Where can I go? I haven't got nowhere to go. So of course, growing up with those parenting and children should be seen and not heard and all those things. I try to use it in my parenting with my daughters, but I realize that I buck up on two people now, these two young girls, they're brave. Because when I'm telling them to do something, they're telling me why. And I'm looking at them like, why? And realizing like, no, this parenting that I've adapted is not gonna work. So that's why I help the parents that I support to take a look at themselves. Not saying they're bad parents, not saying that the old parenting, some of the old parenting does work, but some of them, some of it doesn't work because the new generation, I don't even know. I say with my daughters, they had a lot of confidence. You couldn't win that battle. So yeah, so for me, raising those girls by myself, sort of single-handedly, I know their dad was involved, he saw them, but to where they are now, to where we were, to the struggles that we've had, to me, it's just a blessing that the girls are doing really well and they don't cause me any trouble. I don't have a when I say, people go, oh, it can't be perfect. But I'll be honest with you, you say to me, when's the last time you guys have an argument? Like I probably could put up my hand and probably say, I don't know if it's an argument, probably a disagreement. I've said something or they've said something, but it's it's very few and far between that we have a disagreement because I think what it is that I've learned, I know their kind of personalities. Um, and even though I'm their mother, I give them that room to breathe. Before I'll be that nagging mother, I wouldn't listen. But now, even though they're 27, they're adults, but I'm not using the old parenting where because me are 50, me know better than you, if that makes sense.
Yes, and you know what? Funny with the youths of today. Now, as you know, Harmony, I'm gonna talk because she's more open and more than her mom. So she was here the other day and I go, move. She goes, Grandma, I'm not a dog.
Ooh,
You only tell dogs to move. Okay?
ooh,
Right. Then I said to her the other day again, I said, Harmony, my grandmother used to say this, move from your ears need to eat grass. Your grandma, but your ears doesn't have teeth. Yeah. So the generation of today, and I can't let her see me laughing or even smiling. You
mm,
understand? Yeah, so I'm gonna agree with you. With the kids, they have these mouths on them, you know?
yeah,
My daughter, no, she wasn't like that. She doesn't really talk back.
yeah,
But I know with Harmony, if you allow her, she's
mm,
gonna, you're gonna have a hard time with her.
quite bold, isn't it? Quite
She
confident.
is,
Not,
yes, I
yeah,
see
yeah,
that in her. So I can relate there to what you're doing. And I know raising your daughters now, you mentioned that one of them is a teacher outside of the UK and the other one, but they're doing very well.
yeah,
So you have to pat yourself on the shoulder, for raising them and now to see them, you know, going in that direction, which that's what you were basically looking for.
yeah.
And, I like that, especially a mom. I remember, is it this year turned 50 or last year?
Yeah, this year, March gone. Yeah, this
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
So I saw even a little bit of that, and I just like how you have that social media effect. You're talking on there, letting people know on, how to deal with. So even if parents are having issues with their children, if they follow you, they might even pick up a little, because sometimes it's just a little problem. It's not a
Yeah,
big,
sometimes it's not, people
yeah,
think it's sometimes, oh my gosh, it's really bad. Sometimes it's just a little
yeah,
small problem that you just
yeah,
need to support with,
right,
how to handle it, you know?
right. And okay, so you work with persons online if you have to and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, because that's where I started with COVID. It was everything was online when I
Yeah,
first
yeah.
started. Yeah.
So if so mothers who are out there who are joining us on the program today, here is someone that I can attest for. I mean, how I met Jenny is through an organization that we were directors. The organization is called Adapt a Youth Foundation. And I met her, and they're very committed individual, somebody that, and we just develop a relationship.
Mhm.
So thank goodness for social media. We haven't
Yeah,
met all these years, but it seems like we know each other personally or physically, but we
mm,
haven't met yet. Still looking for that day to come. Just a few moments ago, I was saying to her, when are you coming to Canada?
no,
We
true.
need we need to
Gotta make
connect.
it work. It's true.
But to know that we have that relationship, right? And now I can understand with the social media, you don't have to be there.
Mm,
So, I found it very difficult when people says, I just had a conversation with this person. So I'm saying having a conversation with this person when you didn't meet, but I realize that's the language you have to use. Whether you do texting, whether you do live, whatever, people are gonna relate to you based on it doesn't matter what means you're
yeah.
communicating with. And it's good um, that I really admire you for your work.
Thank you.
But just recently, I've noticed something again that you're not stopping. And now I've seen you actually receiving a degree and I'm saying, wow, she actually graduated now to even enhance her business more. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So last week I graduated. I completed a master's in coaching psychology. Um, and I was supposed to graduate last year, believe it or not, but I had to defer a year because there was just too much going on and I needed to focus more. So I said, right, okay, if I defer the year, I now need to just get my head down and I'm gonna have to say a lot of no's to a lot of things. And that's what I did because before I was trying to do, like yourself, Janet, doing so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't possible for me to complete it. So it's like, okay, you're gonna have to take this time out. So I did it. And it's funny because when I realized the date that I'm graduating, it was 10 years ago when I was 40 that I had my first degree. Me and my daughters only just put the connections like, Mum, I'm sure you was 40 when you did the first one. I said, oh yeah. I didn't realize that. Um, so for me it was just I think for the girls to see as well, because when I was 40 and I did my degree, they were 16 doing in the UK they call this the exams GCSEs. There's me, a 40-year-old that hasn't studied for years, pulling my hair out. They're taking it nice and easy. I'm worried about me completing, but then I'm worried about them. Are they going to pass? Because they seem to be fine, not stressing. I'm the only one that's getting stressed. But in the end, they exceeded all of their exams. I think they did better than me at school. And then I graduated. It was the first time that they came to the graduation when I was 40. And obviously that was something for them to, see like their mum's graduating. So this time around, only one daughter could come because one daughter's in the UK and one daughter's in Abu Dhabi. So she watched we video called and everything like that. But they were saying to me, when you hear your daughter say that they're proud of you, like one of the daughter that was in the video said, a lot of people look for a role model, but I have been birthed by one. The other one said, she's this is a superwoman, an inspiration. I mean, I knew my daughters were proud, but I didn't know to what extent that I was having that impact on them. So I say this to say to any parents that are listening to this today, believe it or not, your children are watching you. If you think sometimes you think your children think you're boring or what have you, you will be surprised. Your children are watching you and don't say much. Because my daughters would say to me when I was doing my stuff, oh, my friend saw you, Mum, we're so proud of you. And, they've said that. But they watched me when I was doing the masters, I was under some serious pressure and they were like, Mum, you could do this. Don't worry about it. Let's just pray and have our faith. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. So for me, it's a big achievement because I wouldn't sit here and say to you that it was easy. It was not easy doing that masters. And I said, one of my mentors said, oh, you're gonna do a PhD after that. I said, listen, I don't know about that right now. I just need to get through this masters. Yeah, I can't think that far. So just doing it, and having to cut out all the distractions and say no to a lot of things when I wanted to say yes was quite difficult. But I knew by doing this is going to help me because this is part of my legacy. This is part of my business. People saying to be a coach, you don't need to be accredited. But for me, when it comes to mastering my craft, I've got to be the best. Yeah. Like, sorry, that's me. I'm aiming to be the number one parent and teen coach for UK, if not globally after that. But you have to what they say, you can't dance
Dance
abroad.
a yard before you go abroad.
Yeah, so me, I dance a year before me go abroad, but
Yeah,
we will still go abroad. But
yes,
yeah, I'm making my mark here. But for me, the bigger picture is to be global, and it's not even about me. It's to have that impact, make that impact for families because I know how important it is. Once you work on yourself, yeah, you're breaking generational cycles. You're definitely breaking generational
exactly.
cycles.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree with that. Have you ever thought of maybe training others to become a coach?
Yes, actually, that was one of my. It's funny, that's one of my goals. And the reason why I'm saying that is that greater elevation is bigger than me. When I first started, I thought, yeah, I could do it by myself. No, if you're going to create impact and legacy, you can't. You need a team.
Yeah,
So my goal was actually to take myself eventually out of it. I'm building up a curriculum so that at first I was looking at um training teens, but I'm even looking at even adults, parents as well. Like, why not? Training others for them to go and continue with the greater elevation brand. It doesn't necessarily have to stop with me, if that makes sense.
yeah, and it's funny you're saying that. You know SOAD, right?
Yes.
So since last year late, they got us on a journey through Elroy University.
Okay.
We're out of UK. We're studying ourselves in terms of Black African way.
Mm.
They we studied the psychological part of ourselves, the trauma that we're going through a whole bunch of trauma we don't realize, and many other factors based on the
Mm.
different areas. But one of the greatest thing now, which I'm gonna embark upon it, and by the way, all those are free. All those courses, about 7 of them, we've done for
Amazing.
free. But this particular one now, that's gonna be starting next month. It will be dealing with mental
Mm.
illness within our people.
Definitely needed.
They're gonna give us accreditation that we can use it no matter where we go.
That's amazing.
It is amazing, and I'm looking forward
Wow.
to it because I see after being out there working with people in the community, and sometimes they're not fully not understanding.
Yeah.
It's just once you get that training to understand how to deal with these situations.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that it can be done online. It's like you don't really have to be meeting people anymore
Yeah. Which is
physically,
amazing.
which is amazing. So
Yeah.
it yeah, I brought that up to say this to say that is that um when you're going into something, it should be in a way that eventually you can pass it on,
Yeah. That's my
which is
intention.
where
Exactly.
we're at
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
We can know for all the training that we've gotten so far, because I have to do the dissertation for all of them. No,
Wow.
once we've done all of those, we're gonna get certificates for all.
Excellent. Wow.
Yes.
Amazing,
So
Janet.
yes, so that's behind the scene what I'm doing.
That's
Looking
amazing.
forward to that. I don't even want to put it out there until I get all my certification.
You will get it. You will get it.
Yes, I know. But at the end of the day, when I look at it, I said that is something now for especially for harmony and my daughter,
Mm.
other persons, I can now look at situation and assess the needs,
Yes.
analysis and then take it from there.
That's
That,
amazing.
yeah,
Love
it
that.
is.
Well done. That's amazing,
Yeah,
Janet.
so I
Wow.
have that behind the scene that I've been doing
I know
some.
you're always doing something. You like
It's just
in England they got a
yes.
word, a term, they go that somebody who's doing a lot of things have their finger in a lot of pies. That's what they call it here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and some people may think that you're doing too much, but
Well,
for
that you know
me,
what? If they're doing too much, you're doing too much. They're not doing enough. Sorry.
thank you. That's why I love you, girl, because you
Yeah, they're
always
not doing enough.
you always have
Don't
the
watch me, you
answer.
know. You
You always
understand?
have the answer. So
Because
for
the time
me,
they're looking at you doing too much. What are they doing then?
exactly. So I don't think because when I look at these things, it's not something that you're doing every day, right? You're not doing it every day.
Hmm.
Maybe because one of the course that we did one on Monday, just once a week. Then the other one we did it on Friday, and it's like 6 weeks at a time, right? 6 week, 8 weeks, and we did it, right? So I figure, okay, let me continue on the journey. And especially getting older now, I want to be more at a relax, not a lot of physical work.
Mm.
I want to be more at a relaxed stage in my life, you know, where I'm more relaxing than getting up every day to go do, and at the same time getting paid.
Yeah.
That's the,
And you
that's,
see, the thing
yeah.
is, with a lot of people, this is the thing. There's a lot of people. Because I read a lot of books. They talk about you got to be prepared to do what the 1% won't do. Like you're doing all of that. And some people, this is not before anybody gets mad when they listen to this. I'm not pointing my finger at anybody. But sometimes you have a lot of people that just will sit there and binge watch Netflix. Now, I don't have nothing wrong with Netflix, yeah. But me, to where I need to be, yeah, I don't have time to be sitting there and binging on Netflix. So I will apportion my time like on a Sunday, that's my day. I can do what I want without feeling I've got to do this, I've got to do that. If I want to watch Netflix, that's me. But for me, time is key. So
Mm-hmm.
I need to put my time into doing stuff that's going to elevate me, hence greater elevation, yeah, like
Yep.
yourself. So for me, there's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself and things like that. But me personally, I know where I want to go. I see it as time ticking. A lot of people don't. I say, listen, when I speak to a lot of people, say, listen, I'm 50 now. So I hear what? Yeah, I have to pick up the pace. Yeah. And they laugh at me. They say, you don't look 50. Yeah, I know, whatever. But for me, in order for me to be where I need to be, and there's things that I want to do, I now need to be disciplined and use my time quite
Yes.
wisely. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, if anything doesn't align with me, yeah, I'm sorry, it's going to be a hard no. Before years ago, I would be saying yes to everything, but really, I can't align myself with everything at the end of the day. It's got to be serving me. I don't mind helping where I can, but you know what I'm saying in terms of where it is that I'm going. So when people keep telling you that you're doing a lot and whatever you, sometimes people will project because they see you doing so much, and sometimes deep down, they really would want to be that go-getter to do things. So what they would say is like, for me, sometimes people go, I can't keep up with you. But nobody needs to keep up with me. Honestly, this is just how I am. And I enjoy what I'm doing. So it's not a competition. We're all different. We're all unique. Maybe I can do more than you. Maybe you don't want to do what I'm doing, and it's fine. But I think everybody's got their own journey and know where it is that they're heading. So, but if you want to get to where you need to be, I don't feel you got to slog yourself out. You got to work smart, but you've got to work on yourself and master your craft. That's the only way you're going to
Exactly.
get to where you need
And
to be.
you know what? I can relate to what you're saying because sometimes I'm up like 3 in the morning and I'm on that social media posting, or even replying because throughout the course of the day, I won't have time.
Yeah,
So I utilize my time in the best way possible. And I find it works for me,
yeah,
understand? And I get to the point now that, my days now, I prepare myself in different ways based on what I have to get done.
yeah.
And I manage my time very well. Some days I'll get up and I'll just kind of, taking it easy.
Yeah, because you got to listen to your body.
Yeah, because your body, yes, exactly. So some days, and it has nothing to do with age here. It's just when you work for yourself, there are some days you want to just relax more.
You got to take your element
Yeah,
of self-care. And I
yeah,
think
yeah.
what it is with being in the social media, people tell you got to be working all around the clock. And what is it? I think somebody said, I won't sleep until I'm dead. And I'm like, listen, that's not going
Oh,
to be me.
mm-mm.
So you've got to be making sure that you know who you are so that your mind's not all over the place to what this guru is saying, what that guru is saying, whatever. There's times I'm like, for 2 days, I might be like, actually, I'm just going to take it easy. But that's down to me, that's up to me. Um, and I just listen to my body, So, why I say to you that, I have a set day for myself. But like you, Janet, there'll be times when I'm like, actually, no, I'm not doing anything today.
Yeah,
Just not doing
yeah,
anything today.
yeah. Some days I just don't do a lot,
Yeah,
but I know things has to be done. But I know if you don't do it today, the next 2 days, 3 days, everything just piled up.
piles
You
up. Yeah,
still has to get it done no matter what
yeah.
you do. Okay, Jenny, so there's a piece which I just found out from you not so long ago, just now. You're moving forward now, and I thought it's a great idea where you're heading. And one of the things I've always looked at is a solution. My thing is solution.
Hmm.
And I think where you're heading is a solution because even if you talk to these parents or you are your teens, and there's not something in place for them, they're gonna go back to there again.
Hmm.
But at least if you have a solution for them, like you speak with the parents and said, hey, you know, why don't you guys come on over because we have this, we have that. So tell us a little bit about your next step from the degree and how you attend to how you want to use it to make a difference and impact lives.
Okay, so it's been on my heart. It's probably coming up to a year, 2 years actually. It's been on my heart. I want to set up because my company's called Great Elevation, a separate sort of business. When I say business organization, it's a community interest company. It's called CIC for short in the UK. Greater Elevation Academy. Like I've got the name, I've even got the social media. I've even had that on there for like quite some time. And I want to provide an academy for young people in the UK. It's gonna be in a physical building where if they've been disengaged from the mainstream schools, or maybe they been asked to leave that school, maybe they have had problems, whatever, they can be referred to our academy, my academy, where we will have a curriculum in place and we're going to have, we're going to have like industry experts there. We're going to have counselors. We're going to have mentors coming in. There's going to be coaching, different professionals, where the young people can get their qualification, but it's going to be so much more of a different curriculum, and it's going to be um, people that the young people can relate to. Because sometimes in some of the schools, which I know because I work in some of the schools, sometimes there is a barrier there for some of the young people for whatever reason. Maybe there's things going on at home. Maybe they just don't like the mainstream schools, whatever it is. So I want to provide an alternative. Now in the UK, schools like these are called pupil referral units, but I don't really want to have that kind of name. Like it's a referral, it's a unit. So for me, this is a place of excellence for young people to be able to be elevated to the next level, and helping them in all different areas, like emotional intelligence, which I know is not taught at school, looking at the self-esteem, going behind the root to see like what exactly is going on, so that's why on site there will be counselors, for support. There'll be me doing coaching, there'll be other people, there'll be teams, there'll be mentors, there'll be industry experts. Maybe a young person wants to aspire to be in a certain profession, but maybe going to mainstream school, they may never have that aspiration raised. So that's how I would possibly tap into my network and see, who I can bring in. So that's the dream. I even went to look at a school at one point. The school actually was the school where I wanted was I rang up, I did all inquiries, but the school I wanted has been auctioned. But I'm like, it's okay. Um, it was auctioned online. I did all the inquiries and everything like that. But I'm like, look, I'm still gonna do this dream, even if I have to start in a hall. So that's something that I've had a dream about doing, and it's going to come to reality because I like to speak. I like to speak what you seek. That's what I call it. I'm also on the board of directors for an organization called the Change in Life Centre, and I've been in talks with them, which I can use their facilities for free and do some community sessions. So those community sessions are going to start. I want to start it this month, and that's going to be like I call it like a drop in. It's going to be for parents, it's for teenagers, but it's the community to come in to get that support, coaching. We can sit and have a chat, find out where they're at, and just really have that for the community because the organization is called Change in Life Centre. So we have to be there to change in lives. So that's the next move for me.
I'm wondering, just listening to what you're saying, I think many organizations here could maybe benefit with what you're offering, or maybe institution there, especially for Black youths. Yeah, I think I see a collaboration could take place.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, and through SOAD, as you know, the diplomatic mission
Yeah.
in terms of community outreach and all of that, maybe it's something that, you and I can sit down.
Yeah, let's have a talk about
Yeah,
that.
and
Yeah.
let's have a talk. And while I was talking to you too, something else came to my thought, a project that was sent to me to look at, which supposed to talk about it with a group of other women, so maybe it is something that you and I can look at, in terms of the youths,
Yeah.
because you have that experience in it and for some time now. So I think, it is something that we could work on.
Yeah,
Once we're
sounds
off
good.
here, I will call you up.
Yeah.
Maybe not today,
Yeah.
but another day I can call you up, and it is
Yeah,
something.
yeah, we can have a discussion about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm all for
So
impact, you know me.
I know that's
I
why
know you are as well. Yeah. So
people like yourself, I always bring on because, there's always new development, new things happening with you, never a dull moment, so
especially.
yeah, looking forward to that. Is there anything else you would like to talk about before we decided to go?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but here as well in the schools, we noticed that the schools struggle to have parental engagement with the parents at the schools. So my mission at the moment is to collaborate with schools, not only just to support the teenagers, but the parental engagement with the parents.
Mm-hmm.
In the UK, they've got a set of 8 frameworks, and one of the frameworks is talks about engaging the parents. So I recently had a few months back, if it was last year, I spoke with a school and I went and delivered a 12 week, a 6 weeks program for parents, solely for parents. So what I'm doing at the moment is rolling this out in talks with other schools um, to see if we can even target those parents, perhaps maybe the ones that they don't have any regular contact with, to see how we can support them in terms of me providing coaching services and bridging that gap to be able to for them to be able to engage with the teachers at the schools.
Mhm.
So that's something that I know happens in many schools, and that's something in terms of me providing a service. So not just coming in to do your regular workshop or talk, but having a program for parents. Even going to be looking at talking to schools about even being on site in schools to talk to the parents. Have a coffee morning, have a chat, come in with me. Because remember, I'm external. I'm not within the school, so it's possible that parents are probably going to feel more at ease speaking with me, and obviously not me coming to point a finger at them. So that's something again that I'm working on as well here.
Have you ever thought of expanding greater elevation outside of the UK? Is that something that you thought about?
Oh yeah, because I said me want go global, so yes, that is music to my
Uh,
ears.
yeah, like franchising sort of thing.
Oh no, but that is a good franchising. That is a good
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because same platform, same everything.
hmm.
It's just that someone else would.
That's a good, yeah, we're
Um,
gonna definitely have to talk. Yeah.
yes, yes. So, because from you been on the journey, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
I've just seen that you keep adding more service. And
Yeah.
I guess it goes by the need of each person, right?
Yeah.
And I see here, based on what you're doing, I don't even know if the answer is there yet. I mean, a lot of things are coming through.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. And because you have developed a system in place, I think you could be a great segue to get to um, take what's the word I'm looking for, to somewhat extend your program.
Expansion. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, into other areas, right?
Yeah.
So I think it will be great. So it is something you and I gonna talk about
Yeah.
and see what we can come up with
Yeah.
to make, to impact.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
Impact.
And also been doing, which I do as well with the coaching, speaking engagements as well.
Right.
One of my goals is that I want to go speak in other countries as well. That's something that's been on that vision board for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done like panel talks here. Um, I've gone to deliver speaking engagements. And at the moment as well, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm working on getting into corporates as well. So that's another offer. I actually made an offer. I put together a special offer for corporate, their wellbeing departments. So really bringing in a wellbeing initiative for the employees to help the organizations, retention, because I'm looking at um, there's families,
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of families in there that have teenagers, and even me putting myself, when I used to come to work, I'll just be coming there stressed out. Yeah. And I know some organizations, they have what you call an employer, um, it's called an EOP, employer program hotline that they can call, which is well and good. So that I'm looking to actually partner with those organizations, but I'm looking at other organizations that don't have an in-house sort of package to support families. And I feel like if companies are offering wellbeing initiatives to their employees, they're going to be able to retain their staff. It makes staff feel that they're at home, they're part of a family, not just an employee coming to clock in and clock out. So that's something that I'm putting together. And I've also got a couple of collaborations coming up with some youth organizations is here as well. So this is the thing, I'm expanding what I'm doing in terms of making an impact. But I know, like I said, I'm having to build a team now because, there's only one of me. If 10 people,
Right.
10 organizations need me, how can I be there at the same time? So that's something that I'm bearing in mind at the moment. Yeah.
What about a bereavement section? Have you ever thought of doing something like that, grieving?
I
Um,
haven't because it's not my remit, but it could be that I get somebody that, like I said to you about building a team.
right.
Building a team for me means not only just maybe training maybe people to do what I do, but having, so for example, my academy, something like that, I would bring somebody in who has that expertise.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah,
yes.
that's the way that I would look at doing that, because like you said, bereavement, grief, that is something as well that affects families, you know,
Yeah,
day
because
to day.
I'm
Yeah,
just thinking like you're coaching parent, child, and God forbid,
yeah,
you don't want to think it, but say for
yeah,
example, something transpired
yeah,
in that time frame,
yes,
then either the parent or the child is gonna be so lost,
yeah,
don't have that support because they miss something is missing and it's not the
yeah.
same. And they're probably just trying to start bonding with each other and now that's gone. It's like the person's gonna go right back at square one.
Yeah. So
You know?
that's why for me, doing when I was looking at the academy, it's about having an extension of services as well. So like you
Yes,
said, maybe like a grief counsel, somebody who
yes,
specializes in grief,
exactly.
that will be, yeah, something obviously because it's not my remit, but bringing in other industry experts that
Yes,
have that experience. So this is why what I'm doing is, like I said, is bigger than me. It's not just me alone, I need other people that have that particular expertise and has that remit to say that, yeah, this is what they specialize in. They're the expert in that. We're going to have them on board as well. So yeah, good thinking. But yeah, I
yes,
definitely was thinking
yes.
in terms of
So,
different
because, I'm
specialities.
just
Yeah,
listening to you where you're heading.
yeah,
And then there are all the different components out there, like so
yeah,
many.
yeah,
It's endless. Yeah, which I'm not sure about the UK, but here, many of us don't have that kind of support system,
mm,
like other parts of the world. We don't have it, to be honest.
yeah,
Sometimes, like what we studied at SOAD now with the trauma and the transpersonal spirituality and all that other stuff, right? We weren't taught these things. So
mm,
when certain things comes up, we're
you don't
lost. We
see
don't
them.
know how to deal with it.
Yeah,
Right? So things like these, putting these in place, I think could help us
yeah,
take us to another level. Right.
definitely.
Yeah. So um Jenny, if you could just share your different social medias where you can be connected.
Yeah, so
Mm.
thank you. So I can be found on Instagram under Jenny Beckford one, and also Instagram under Greater Elevation. Any one of the two, you can link me on both of those. On Facebook, I'm on under Jenny Beckford. Also, any parents of teenagers that are listening, I have a Facebook community called Elevating Parents to Elevate Teens. So if you want a community with other parents that are on that journey, and you have some access to me, feel free to come and join us in that community. I'm also on LinkedIn under Jenny Beckford as well. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
on
that's it.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn.
I
Yeah.
have to connect with you on there. I'm on there.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
you're on LinkedIn. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because that's the corporate
And
LinkedIn
I
and
think I shared you on LinkedIn this morning.
oh, okay. I
Yes,
need to
yeah,
go
but
find
I
you
didn't
then.
know. I
You
did
didn't
not
know
know
that was
that
on
you were
there. Yeah,
looking.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
on there.
yeah. Because what I do, I like this, I try to share everyone
Yeah.
on the different social media
Bless
networks.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jenny, it was a pleasure as usual.
You too.
And they said, all good things must come to an end.
Definitely.
So, I know we're just a phone call away, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, just thank God for WhatsApp, you know.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lifesaver.
yeah. Uh, so until such time,
Thank you so much,
yeah,
Janet. Again, I always love coming on talking to you and just keep up the amazing work that you do. This lady, as I said, like she's just multi-talented, she's doing so many things. And it's amazing that, you're all the way in Toronto. I'm in the UK and we're still able to connect.
connect,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, which is amazing.
So it's one, Adopt a Youth Foundation, but guess what? The business networking opportunity,
Mm.
that was the biggest thing for us.
That was something.
Yeah, this lady has never missed one of those events. Never. I could call
Remember
up.
those nights going to bed at 3 in the morning, but it was all worth it though. It was good.
Yes, that was something. And thank goodness for COVID,
Yeah,
because this is what it did for us.
yeah,
All these journeys that started was during the lockdown. Because, you had to keep yourself busy.
yeah.
Some people couldn't deal with certain things, but at least we created a platform. And I had so many different guests that came in on that.
That was fun times. Yeah, the guests were amazing that were
Yeah,
coming on that
yeah.
on
We
that
even
show.
had Allison with the music.
Yeah, from the
And
UK. Oh, amazing.
okay, yeah, that was
Couple of doctors. What's his name? He was really great. Yeah.
Oliver Aubrey.
Yeah.
He's there now, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, he has some patients that he's dealing with over there because I connect with him every once in a while.
Okay.
I want to have him come in studios because of the time difference, because
Yes.
I know he has a lot to share
Yeah,
in terms
definitely.
of taking our health back and stuff like that. But one of these days I'll have him in studio, right?
Yeah,
But Jenny, once again, thank you so much. Say hello to your daughters.
I will. Thank
And
you.
yes, and congratulations again.
Thank you. Give Harmony a big hug for me, yeah?
I will,
Lovely.
I will. All
Oh,
right, so
take care. Thanks,
uh,
Janet.
take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Yes, people. So that was Jenny Beckford, colleague of mine out of the UK. We've been on this journey for some time, but very motivational individual, very inspiring, and she has so much. And for people who are going in business, she shares her journey with us as to what inspired her to get there till raising her children, and then the different transition. Now she just got a degree, I think last week, something with coaching, psychology, deal, and you have to have these things in place so you can, especially in your business, you can add more value to what you do. Anyhow, people, once again, thank you so much for joining me. But before I go, I have to do some shout outs. So on the Eglinton TV network. So whenever you have time, just drop by the network, which is only a click of a button, www.eglintontv.com. So I'll go in sequence as the shows appears every week. So on Sunday, we have the Deli Terrell the Godfather show with his crew. He has about maybe five different DJs on that play different kind of music. On Mondays, you have yours truly, Jeanette Lumley, on the Reggaelution Talk Show. It depends on the time frame. So my time fluctuates with the guest. So for example, today I had Jenny Beckford in from 2 to 7, so 2 o'clock EST, but where she is at 7 o'clock their time because I think there's a 5 hour difference between us. Then on Tuesdays, we have um, David Smith from Reggae Size, who celebrated a birthday yesterday. So again, happy birthday, David. And so you can tune into his show where he uses reggae to do some form of fitness. So it's a good look. You can check him out. And Wednesday, you have Boxer Joe with his musical moment or channel that he goes on, I think from 7 to 11 or 7 to 10. It's on the network. You can go there to check out the schedule for all the shows. Then on Thursdays, nothing is happening there yet, but soon we'll have more people coming on. Then on Fridays, we have Telly Deliterel again on the network with his crew again. And on Saturdays, you have Boxer Joe again with his thing. Then on Sundays, you have gospel. So Boxer does a gospel session, so does Ferdy Bro. Watch out for community happenings coming up over the next months in Toronto and around. So we have the different festival. We have the Welland Festival that's coming up in August. We have a Taste of Jamaica that's also coming up in August. We have Carabana Ignite also coming up in August. And I've seen a few other ones. I haven't studied them because some of them are new, but the ones that I'm very familiar with, we're also community engagement like dominoes and, where there's real competition and stuff like that, trophy giving. You know what? It's endless. So you'll be hearing more from me with the different events. We're doing a road trip for the first time this year where we'll be going to different festivals and carnivals throughout, again, Ontario. So we have that arranged if you want to stay overnight at a hotel, motel, whatever it is, Airbnb, we can do it all for you. All right. So until such time, people, have a good afternoon and thank you so much for tuning in.